So I just got myself a little bit of coffee, and apparently Jay told me that I have something in the mailbox. Apparently, so thank you, Jay, for going ahead and telling me that. So let's see exactly what's going on here. We got ourselves a book. It says Green Steve by some bizarre name. Huh. I have absolutely no idea what this is, but suppose I could take this up to my office and take a look at it. Thank you again, Jay, for telling me I had this, although I really have no idea what this is even supposed to be. Okay, so here we are at my office. Let's go ahead and have a seat in the chair. Let's put our book down that apparently I don't know what this is even supposed to be. And let's take a look inside. That is bizarre. Okay, let's go ahead and look up what this is even supposed to be in the first place, because this is definitely odd. Okay, apparently this leads me to the CREEPYPASTA page yet again. Can't say I'm too terribly surprised, but then again, that doesn't explain who sent this book to me. Okay, so apparently this leads me to something in regards to Green Steve, which makes sense because that's what the title of the book is. And yeah, apparently I'm still wearing my suit and tie. So let me go ahead and change out to something a little bit more fitting for this scenario. Alright, so I've got my investigation jacket and hat on. Not that really matters, but I wanted to fit the part for like a detective investigator or whatever. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's go ahead and get my coffee consumed, put it in my system. Okay. So what exactly is going on here with this Green Steve story? Well, apparently according to this page, there's like 2 stories here, so... And also they're not very long, so unlike the Entity 303 story that I covered the last few episodes, I think I'm just going to cover both of these stories in this single video. This is a very odd turn of events, but let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. So let's go ahead and start off with the first story, and it just says it's the tale of Green Steve. And I'll make sure to have a link down in the description to the page that I'm looking at if you guys want to read along with me. Not the page that was in the book in front of me, because that's a bit of a nightmare. But we'll go ahead and take a look at this. So here's what it says. I was playing Minecraft on the 1.8 update when I found a desert temple. Like most players, I broke the blue block and jumped down the hole. I accidentally hit a block, the block that sets off the TNT, but surprisingly it did not go off. A Steve-like mob came down from the hole where the blue block was, and it looked like Steve, only green. It hit me, and I appeared in a room made of bedrock filled with creepers. I was really freaked out, so I exited. I then went back the next day. To my surprise, I was not in the creeper cave, but in a forest. It was like I had made a new world, though I obviously hadn't. Strange enough, the chat box popped up with the words, Green Steve, I am coming. And this, according to what it says, it's formatted as if a player had actually said this, and I want to believe this might potentially pop up later. Yeah, it looks like it does pop up a little bit later. I'll get to that once we get to that part of the story. But yeah, it's formatted like a player is actually typing this in the chat. Alright, so let's continue on. This was very weird. I double-checked to see if I was on multiplayer, but shockingly, I wasn't. I moved through the forest, still wondering about the chat message. So yeah, it is actually confirmed there was a chat message. I get that. In a few moments, I happened to stumble across a house. It had been my house in the world before, only in a forest, not a desert. I went in. There was nothing. Then the green mob came in. Another message appeared in the chat box. Green Steve. Hello, brother. I then just blew up, having no idea what had happened. I deleted the world after that, because I didn't want to come across this weird entity again. I sent an email to one of the developers who had helped in the making of Minecraft about my experience, and he replied, one of the developers wanted to add Green Steve to Minecraft, but we said no, and we caught him adding it in. If this is true, it could explain Herobrine and many other things. Okay, that is definitely fairly interesting, and I'm actually drawing some conclusions about this particular incident that I will discuss in a little bit, but I want to potentially see if this second story has any form of backup as to my ideas. Again, I realize I haven't explained what it is just yet, but I want to see if there's like any additional information in the second story, like I said. And apparently, this is by someone by the name of Will Zombie. This is apparently called the Will Zombie Encounter, which is uncreative, but whatever. Right, so it says, "Hi everyone, it's Will Zombie, and I hope you will enjoy this." So, there's definitely something a little confusing why you're putting that together if this is supposed to be a creepypasta, but whatever. I opened up a server. I didn't realize what horrors this server would contain. I appeared right into a desert temple with the bonus chest I generated. A little bit of a theme here, apparently. Everything looked normal until I walked backwards and bumped into something, but it wasn't a wall. When I turned around, I realized I bumped into 2 blocks of emerald block. I stared at the block, wondering why this was here, when I heard the sound of a block breaking. I spun around to find that the blue clay block had vanished, which apparently is another, theme regarding Green Steve, it seems. I jumped down the hole and accidentally landed on the pressure plate, but instead of hearing the hissing of TNT, a green version of Steve appeared on the same block as me and punched me. I died immediately, and when I respawned, I appeared in the void and died. When I respawned again, the same thing happened. I could never play in the world again due to me always spawning in the void, the wrong place at the wrong time, because I loaded up that world just for my friends. I didn't get too much peace between them. Okay, so obviously very short compared to the last one, which the last one was obviously short in and of itself. But that's definitely odd. Obviously, as I noted twice, it seems to be a common theme in regards to Green Steve that the Desert Temple, the pressure plate that normally sets off the TNT, actually doesn't, but instead summons Green Steve to you, and then obviously the 2 people who wrote these stories had 2 different things happening to them, but obviously not good things regardless. So let me go ahead and bring up what I thought that came up in my mind, which apparently the second story did not actually confirm or deny. So it said at the very end of the first story, it said, if this is true, it could explain Herobrine and many other things, which that actually is a very interesting sentence to end things off, because let me go ahead and try to explain what I mean. And I want to say for the record, this is speculation, but this is just what I'm drawing from this. So if Green Steve was actually added into Minecraft and the person who added him in was caught and was removed, here's my theory on this. So the last time when we ended up discussing Entity 303, apparently it was a former Mojang employee that got fired under the watch of Notch, and he ended up getting revenge on Minecraft players as well as the Mojang team as Entity 303, as well as having some people helping him out. My question is that the exact same developer? And if so, my next question is, technically speaking, was Notch still actually working in Minecraft back in one point? Because I actually don't know for sure. I want to believe he might have left Mojang before then, but again, I don't know for sure. But if this is actually what ends up happening, and this is actually the start of 303, that actually would explain that story. As far as Herobrine, here's another thing that I have in mind. Again, speculation is all I have for this. What if potentially Green Steve and Herobrine are actually the exact same entity, and the attempt to remove Green Steve failed and instead turned into Herobrine? There isn't another possibility, obviously, but we don't really have any context on that for sure. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting set of stories. So, again, I'm kind of curious, like, who exactly sent this book to me? Because there's obviously no context whatsoever. It gives the author's name, but it's all jumbled up. Very odd. But yeah, this is obviously where I'm going to end things off because that's actually all there is on this particular page. I really don't understand, like, what exactly is happening here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end things off on this note. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCP0 to stay updated. This has been Zero Studios. Thank you guys for watching. And with that, I'll see you guys later.